Sorry.
Hello, Joe.
What ho, what ho.
Oh,
Did you get that hole dug in the backyard yet? Finished?
dude, that's all done.
Oh, shit.
Now I got to fill it with stones.
Oh, you're not doing a in-ground pool out there? You're doing a fire pit. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So check it out. Our buddy Chuck. Oh, see this?
Yeah?
He 3D printed this. It's a shock mount. So my mic, when I pound the table because you're pissing me off, doesn't vibrate.
Huh. That's clever. What is that? Oh, is that your little spit guard on the mic there? Is that what that is?
Yeah, because I spit constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
It's actually meant to be a wind blocker. So when you say words that have a lot of air coming out, it doesn't hiss on the microphone.
Oh, that's cool.
But for me, it's a spit blocker too. I have to clean it every few days. It's gross.
Yeah, well, you do get a little frothy over there sometimes, I've noticed.
I am frothed.
But hey, man. So look, I was looking at the market.
Check it out.
I mean,
Check it out. What my kids gave me for Christmas.
Hoodie. I like it. Nice and clean. You know, it's goes into that sort of not what's the right word I'm looking for?
Stating the obvious.
There you go. Yeah. But I like it. It's clever. It's kind of a Gen Z thing, I think.
I think so.
You know. But that's nice. Yeah, I've got a sweater under this, you know, and a t-shirt. I'm like been freezing today. But
yeah. Oh, for those not listening, I'm wearing a black hoodie that says the word hoodie. I mean, not watching. I'm wearing a black hoodie that says the word hoodie on it because it's just silly, kind of dad jokey.
Well, they're rewarding you for all your algebra expertise.
Yes, that's it.
Always fun these days because they teach math.
Tutor.
That's what I was going to tell you, man. It's like that's what I did in last year, and it just is so much easier because they go in and they help them with their homework.
They do. And you know what? I started doing with my son because my son and daughter would. My son's brilliant at math, fucking calculus and all that shit. Anyway, he's brilliant at math.
Where'd you get that from?
Well, I'm actually really good at math when I actually learn it. I just have to actually learn it. And I chose in high school and college not to actually learn more than I needed. So, which is a great philosophy on paper, but in practice, not the best fucking thing, especially when you want to work in cryptocurrencies. Anyway, and when you own part of a company that creates shit tons of data about markets, and you have to like poke through fucking Excel formulas. Anyway,
you mean your buddies on the team aren't doing that for you?
Oh no, they do. But anyway, shout out to Chuck for the mic piece. Thanks so much, buddy. Appreciate you doing that. That was really nice. I think he was just generally annoyed with the noise coming out of my microphone, so he decided to make that.
Well, he's a perfectionist and he's a detail-oriented person, so I can see why that would annoy him.
Yeah. What were we just talking about? I had a thought process, and you that was relevant to the show, and totally fucking lost it. Algebra.
Yeah, before that.
It wasn't relevant to the show. It was not even close to relevant to the show, but I'm going to fucking tell it anyway. So my 16-year-old would help my 13-year-old, but he was just fucking annoyed because she's so bitchy when she's feeling anxiety about math or whatever. And she's really brilliant at math once she gets the concepts. So anyway, the other day they were fighting and I was like, Zach, if you resist fighting and keep tutoring her, I'll give you $20 an hour for tutoring. He was like, sweetest thing in the world. All of a sudden there was no more warfare in the house. So, so far we've done $40 worth, and he's good at teaching her.
So quick question. Are you giving him, you paying him in crypto or are you paying him in fiat?
Cash app, fiat.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. He's got a big game habit. So anyway,
don't they all, man?
Yeah.
Between, it's between all the social stuff and games, I mean, I think, pandemic stuff just got really accelerated that trend as well because nobody had anything else to do.
Yeah.
And now you see that a lot of them missed a lot of education for a year or two there with the distance learning.
Yeah. My son is constantly learning. My daughter is constantly spending money, but my son is constantly learning. So, hey, dudes, a little bit more no DeFi shit. Just one more thing. Have you started watching this series, The Last of Us?
Yeah, I watched the first episode yesterday.
Fucking A. You know it's based on a video game, right?
I figured it was, but I didn't know for sure.
My son's been playing the game because he wanted to watch the show, and the game is so like crosses the boundaries between video game and movie. It's really fucking well done. It is. I can't wait till that just completely gets blended and I don't have to have fucking hand-eye coordination skills to experience a video game like movie. A movie like video game.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking phenomenal. Sean said incentives work, but $20 an hour, man. Geez, cheap.
Yeah, Mr. Frugal over there. Next thing you know, he'll be tweeting out cheap recipes from the New York Times.
He's fucking happy. He gets another $5 for taking out the goddamn trash, and he's got it good. Plus, I pay for everything else. That's
what I was going to say.
Spending money.
I mean, it's like I don't even keep track of it. It's just handing cash out and paying everything else. It's like I remember my allowance when I was a kid. I think it was $1 a week or something.
Yeah.
If I even got it.
Yeah.
Because that was usually what got yanked if I did anything inappropriate.
Yeah, Shizzy said that's double minimum wage. Exactly. I'm overpaying. Just because of that comment, I'm going to cut his wages. No, I'm kidding. He's a good kid. So, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to see him doing well. That's super cool.
Let me see what you loaded up because I don't have shit loaded up, and so I'll load shit up while we load.
I loaded. Yeah,
you just loaded one. You sent one fucking link. That's it.
Oh, plus your little fire charts plug. I sent that over so you could see the floors. I mean, there's a ton of support around 21,000 right now. And you look at those, that's what I was curious. That's what I thought we'd talk a little about. And the other one was the Circle somebody stable coin. I can't remember who.
Yeah, I get it.
Who was it with?
Deloitte?
USDC. Deloitte, ENY, Deloitte or ENY, I think, is now their Circle's auditor. So they got a Big Four auditor.
Cool. Yeah, just a little plug here. Cointelegraph once again took some analysis from my company, Material Indicators, and published it in a piece. They do that pretty regularly now. So let me share screen here. Share screen. All right. So Cointelegraph did a little bit on us, which is nice to see. They take our analysis and use our tools to there it is, fire charts in the article. So we love being quoted.
Yeah.
Drives people to our community. And by the way, we have a premium community for those folks that do a 1 year or more subscription that is, shall I say, rather exclusive in that there are a lot of large whales and institutional folks in there. And so the alpha in there is very good. Very, very good.
That's the one that's not the main channel, right?
Correct. The main channel is good. Okay. The main channel, free channel, is great. It's great. And we don't charge for the community. It's just a benefit. One of the features of if you're a long-term subscriber with us. Anyway, okay, enough plugs. So
pull up the current. Oh, I was going to say, show the current fire chart because I didn't want to. That was kind of a couple days old.
Yeah, let me pull.
Because I'm specifically looking at the 21,000 support lines there.
Okie dokie.
And what?
Let me refresh this. Oh.
Yeah, because it was interesting because that's the thing I was trying to think about the other day, and I was looking on Kingfisher as well. I couldn't find their liquidation stuff current, but because I'm not a subscriber. Did you see Shizzy's comment? $1 a week back then, it was like $100 now. Wow, I feel that one, man.
Yeah. All right, let me load up. There's Bitcoin. So solid support down here. 28 million sitting at about 20,022. 20,220.
Well, I looked at.
A little bit of
I'm gonna
support
go
down here at 20.73. I mean, we've been giving back today a bit, haven't we?
a tiny bit. I mean, I haven't looked in like 30 minutes. So where I'm right here right now, I'm seeing 21,150.
Okay.
Uh,
It went up
let me
to
just.
650 last night, I think.
Yeah. But just to be expected.
Yeah,
People are
21,
going to trim a little
159.
bit. But when I look at support on BTC, you just look. Are you guys doing BTC USDT on the fire chart or BUSD?
Sean points out in fire charts that when those walls move like that, it's usually spoof walls. It's an attempt to
Move the price.
make you think it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good point to remember. Thank you, Sean.
But when I look here on Binance itself, I'm looking at the order book. There's a ton of support at 21,000 and 21,100 right now. I don't know why it's not in that chart. At that level above 21,000, not at 20,000 something. I see a bunch on 20,000 as well, but not near the amount. I mean, it's about 20% of what's sitting on 21,000 and 21,100 right now. And then when you look up, obviously there's a lot of resistance at 21,300, 21,400, 22, 22,500. But that. To me, I always look at that, and I'm not a big chart guy, but I always look at like, okay, what happens if, somebody just comes in out of nowhere to sell a chunk,
Yeah.
not a market play, but more of a, portfolio reallocation play. Can it absorb it? And I see a lot of absorption there.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way down through. I mean, I'm looking at all the way down through 20,500. It looks like, there's about, 23 million in buying power sitting right there. So, and above it, if you go up the same range, it's tiny bit. It's like about 18.7. So, it looks like a decent balance there. So I'm not really too worried about it, going in the tank right now. But again, something new has to happen to push it through that resistance level that Sean talks about a lot.
Yeah. You know how it's a slow news day in crypto?
How?
I'll show you. Somebody announces they're fucking sending something crypto to space, and somebody else announces that some fucking unknown airline is taking crypto. That's the story of the day.
Oh, I love the space deployments. That's always intriguing.
Woo, pump it. They're going to space. Woo.
Yeah. Let's go be asteroid miners.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to do that? I'd love to do that. Just strap me in.
Yeah, absolutely.
But pull up that USDC article, the Circle one with.
Yep. I got you. You talk about that one while I find some other shit to talk about. You want me to pull up the article itself instead of the tweet?
Yeah, you probably should, since I haven't read it yet. I mean, I saw all I needed to see. No need to read the article. I mean, I probably read
Grant Thornton. It says
I should. Used to be Grant. Well, they're a good firm too. So
yeah.
But they don't have the how do I put it, influence to say Deloitte has over regulators and congressmen and all of that, congress people and all of that. Deloitte, these guys are all on the inside, obviously. So the fact that they could pull Deloitte in as an auditor when we saw the messes just with Binance itself trying to get any auditor of credibility, shows me they're kind of anointed at this point again, versus the other staples. So, not good for. I mean, look, it's not what we really care about over here much, but I don't want to see any of these stable coins turn into a gaping goose egg either. So the more that there is there,
goose egg. We should name a project.
I was gonna go gaping hole or whatever, but then goose egg popped in my head. It's one It's one that I always kind of resonates for anything that's zero.
Yeah.
So to me, whatever, it's regulation and all of that, but it does kind of, stabilize any thoughts of doubt on at least that stable coin, what could or couldn't happen. And so, with Tether now backed by US Treasuries, I'll be really interested to see if Tether can pull this off, the same thing off, get a real auditor to,
Right.
sign on to them. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just for stability,
Absolutely.
because I don't want to see any of these $60 billion things go to nothing. This isn't one that recovers. Like if it's a FTX, all that, those recover.
Yeah.
Because the price of Bitcoin goes back up. But, stables, come on. It ain't recovering.
Yeah.
Or it's staying stable, one or the other.
Yeah.
So,
Sean might want to know that I'm sure he's been, he probably already knows this because he keeps up with them so much, but Binance burned $620 million worth of BNB.
Oh, wow. I guess Sean, and when CZ and Sean are at lunch this week, they'll have to, have a little group hug.
Silvergate reports $1 billion net loss in the fourth quarter of 2022.
Yeah, I was watching, they did tap, if I remember, they tapped into the Fed and I think it was the Fed or something. I think it was the Fed window and pulled down like 4.7 billion, I think last quarter, that really stabilized them. But look, I mean, it's just pricing right now.
Yeah.
And stuff going bad, I guess.
Shizzy said, if we pull back further, I think there's a lot of people who missed this. Do they jump in? Sean says, Shizzy, new CME gap to 20,000 and pullback will get bid for sure, but let's see. Niblet says, JJ Allaire has come a long way since HTML editors and CGI gateway database solutions. Yeah, man. I was thinking about that the other day. Cold Fusion, I believe, was what it was called. That was Allaire's original claim to fame was Fame was a web-based database system that allowed you to easily create web-based databases, but it was CGI. And for you young folks, CGI we are referring to is not special effects in a movie, but actually scripting programming language for the World Wide Web. So Sean says Binance burning is a good thing. Home site. Yeah. Home site and Cold Fusion. Good times. That's right. Dude, those days. Remember Front Page, which was bought by Microsoft, the first WYSIWYG website editor? Yeah. I used the fuck out of that thing. I built some websites and made some bank.
Yeah, no, I remember that when all of these came out of like the advertising space and publishers, and as everybody who was trying to deploy, for those who don't remember or weren't around, up until say .com days, IT was always a cost center. It wasn't a revenue generator. And so senior leadership was like, God, how much do these IT guys cost? And they're all sys-ad types. It wasn't like anybody was, systems integration, system administration, stuff like that. There wasn't anybody taking businesses and generating revenue. There weren't digital revenue streams.
Right.
So when these things all came out, and advertising was a natural fit, of course, when you think about agency.com and Razorfish and all those guys. But then there was also the stuff coming out of all the newspapers because they could see the writing on the wall that, hey, people aren't going to be taking newspapers and magazines for delivery for very long. And the other one that was interesting that I did some work with was R.H. Donnelly up in Chicago that published all the White Pages phone books. Yeah. And so they had all this data. And that was a huge engagement and a huge transition where they started monetizing all of that. So, when these things like Front Page came out, it facilitated all of that and made that happen.
On the screen right now is the state of the art in WYSIWYG web page editing in the early 2000s.
God damn, I remember those windows like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks like is that one of the websites you built?
No, it's not.
I'm trying to be nice. Oh man.
Niblet
Yeah.
says in Spyglass Mosaic bought by Microsoft and became IE, not good times. But I also did quite well with the fact that Microsoft had enough sense early in the game to create a DLL of their web browser and make it very easy to wrap. So worked with in the firm I was working in and created a product that embedded the Microsoft browser in it, and that was in 1998. Sorry, not 2008. 1998. So they made good use of that product, despite their lack of compatibility with most web standards for quite a while. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, one more thing on that point.
Yeah, please keep going because I got nothing else right now.
All right. One of the firms I was advising back then, that was an IT services firm, let's say. I remember they had a big contract with, I think it was PetSmart, and I remember it was like, they wanted how to build how much dog food do you need counter. So it was like a $250,000 contract to build a simple little, calculator thing that said, how much food do you need to order? And then they got into the big competition like everybody else. Because remember, all those e-commerce companies were eating the shipping cost. Right. So it got into this competition between, a death spiral, perhaps is the better word, for all of them trying to figure out how to ship 50-pound bags of dog food.
Yeah.
So, you'd buy the shipping would be like, whatever, $30 or something, but the dog food would be like $20. And so, obviously you're losing money on that. So you kind of wonder where all the VC money went, things like that, and Super Bowl ads. Yeah. But it was also now it seems so simplistic, but it's kind of like when I made that reference to, a project we were doing for a U.S. client in Germany, and it was, about they somehow got, the Mac look and feel. I think Macintosh had just come out, and they were like, "Oh, this is so cool, let's do it." And so we had, we were building like, it was a SunSpark station. I don't know if anybody remembers that one, but it had it was running on Unix, and on top of that was we layered, I think, Mac OS, and then on top of that we were running like something called X Windows, which just, I think you think the dog food counter sounded simplistic. X Windows just made that Windows box like we see on a screen now. And those were like, to be able to create a window on a screen, or what we call a graphical user interface, I think was the technical word back then, or something, the GUI. And it would be like, 20 guys from Booz Allen in there with X Windows trying to like, put that on a screen of a client. And, and get paid a ton of money. And then everybody'd be like, "Oh, wow, look at this screen." And so what do you think the first thing they did with it? Well, yes. I'll tell you, they watched Predator with it. It was the very first thing after it was all built. It was up on a big rear screen projector, one of those Barco ones. I don't know if you remember those.
Yep.
And, and they were all in there watching movies. So, it was funny how the first application was kind of a streaming application, in these management centers, let's say. Yeah. But just fun days, but now it's all infrastructure. So that's why when we talk about crypto and things like that, to me, it's all, so much of it's just going to flow to the back soon and be infrastructure that we don't even see. What do you got here?
Sean's going for the Grumpy Old Man in Tech Award today. The world has gone to shit since front page, DOS 3.2. In fact, since assembly language became a minority language. I think Sean's just mad that his skills have not kept up with the current development standards. Who knows?
Well, come on, man. His skills are a lot better now. I think he's done a lot better now since those days, for the last decade, right? He's crushed it.
I think more along the lines of his coding skills is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Not his general make money skills. Absolutely not. So, I will say this: I miss command prompt computing.
That's what I was just thinking of too. Yeah.
And I've done it a bit in Linux and command prompts in Mac, but because the operating system is not that, it's a lot more difficult to stick with it, right? With DOS, that's all you had, right? That was the command, and you had not GUIs. You had a user interface for things like WordStar, WordPerfect,
Word
the first
perfect,
versions
yeah.
of Lotus 1, 2, 3, et cetera, et cetera. But it was much easier to live there, and you became very fast and very adept at command prompt work. And so many developers still live in the command prompt in, whatever OS
That's
they
like
use.
that's the control P stuff and things like that, right?
Yeah,
That
but it's
we,
so much fast. It's so fast.
yeah.
Once you get your hands used to the commands, it's like, and I do miss it occasionally. So,
Do you remember all those? I still use some of those.
yeah,
Like,
change directory, make directory,
yeah.
MD, but yeah. Niblet says $250,000 to read the weight food chart on the back of the bag.
I guess they didn't have it back then. I'm not sure.
And he said, the salad days. Sean said, born to compile. That's
right.
his assembly reference. And then Niblet says, come on, Sean, you can heat your house during all those punch cards you've been burning, all those punch cards you've been hoarding for a rainy day.
God damn, I forgot about those. I remember at a computer science class at the University of Michigan, we would have to go to the computer center and punch the code onto the cards, and then you had to go up to the, whoever was running the whatever type of machine. I guess they were mainframes or something like that. And then they would run the cards through that, and you would get your output on dot matrix paper. And again, what were most people doing? Snoopy, characters. Hey, let's make it print a pretty picture.
Yep.
And but that was crazy. And I remember when they brought in the first PCs, they were the IBM ones. And we were all sitting there trying to ask it questions, and couldn't answer, of course. And because you thought, oh, it's like AI or something, back then. And like,
it's like what you'd seen in movies.
Yeah, but nothing. Then you kind of did that for 10 minutes. You're like, nothing's going to happen here. It's still DOS. But yeah, those are fun times.
Sean said, Niblets, I'm in Europe. That may become necessary, burning the punch cards.
Yeah.
I don't understand why hackers move shit onto main exchanges. The Harmony One hacker moved his shit onto Binance and Huobi. And so, of course, they froze the funds. It's like, what the fuck, dude? You don't think they're watching that shit?
Wouldn't you go to like, some of the ones that don't have, KYC or requirements to watch? I mean, there's a few out there.
Yeah. Because they're less likely to be enforcers because they want that volume desperately.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. In an era when wallets are tagged and everything like that, and it just seems like that this game is going to end soon.
Well, and it's not like you can't clean Bitcoin. I mean, at least get it the fuck out of the wallet. If you're going to try to get it onto Huobi or Binance, at least get it the fuck out of the wallet and move it, clean it first and then move it in. Not that I've ever done that.
Not financial advice. Yeah.
Not financial advice, but if you're going to be a fucking asshole hacker, at least have enough sense to fucking, do it right.
Well, where you could really pull that off, guys, whoever, wants to do that, is you could do that on Coinbase with USDC, and I'm sure you'd be okay.
Niblet says, ha, and a bottle of, this must be a fancy scotch because I know shit about scotch. Lega Vulin, and you'll be okay. He said, sorry, I prefer my scotch to Irish whiskey.
Oops.
Sean said, the only whiskey is the one with an E. I don't drink that whiskey.
Okay, wait. So it must be Jameson you must be talking about.
I don't know.
Because they have a big rivalry between Bushmills and Jameson in Ireland. So, if I remember correctly.
All right, mate.
Yeah, which reminds me of a joke. And I'll try to go through it pretty quickly.
Everybody hold on.
It's not offensive, okay? But if I can remember,
I got the censorship beeper ready to go.
Okay, so you're sitting there and you've been talking to someone. Of course, all my stories are like 90s happy hour stories. But you're chatting someone up, and then all of a sudden, you pull out the tragedy card, and you're like, yeah, unfortunately, my grandfather, blah blah blah, died in a whiskey. I guess facility. And they're like, well, what happened? Well, he was there touring around. He was looking in the vats of, pick a whiskey, and he looked and he fell in by accident. And then everybody tried to jump in and save him, but he valiantly fought them off. It's it's a little bit better when you deliver it over like a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Because then people would engage, and then of course, the number one rule is to get everybody laughing. And then you would get it. There were other jokes like that too, but that was always a fun one.
Absolutely.
Not too offensive.
Just going to keep saying I told you so, so I can be prepared when they fucking own all of DeFi. But a couple of bits of news from the Llama folks. Their RPC, they did over 1 billion RPC requests shortly after launch. So people are using the fuck out of their RPC nodes. DeFi Llama's swap did 250 million in volume in the first 2 days. Again, building during the bear, not fucking paying attention to anything else that's going on, just continuing to provide value. They are going to fucking own a big ass chunk of DeFi when this is all said and done. Just mark my words. I'll clip that out. They will. If you bought NFTs on Uniswap, you should have gotten back 0.01 ETH. If you bought from November 30th to December 14th. So
of this year? Of last year, I mean?
1/100th. Yeah. 1/100th of an ETH. But that's a nice touch. It's a nice thing.
Per NFT?
No, just the first purchase.
God, if they'd gotten me in 21 for all of them, it would have been a nice payday.
No,
but I haven't been super active in the NFT market in the last couple of months.
Yeah, me either. I've been avoiding it. Although, I can't disclose that. I'm not. Never mind. I'll save that for another time.
You talking about Kazuna?
No, adjacent.
Chain binders?
No.
The other way.
Gotcha.
Got it. Yeah. No, I mean, that's in the public domain, the merger.
I didn't even hear about the merger. That's not
no. We're anybody holding the Doki and Azuki, it's going to merge into the new token that's coming out called Gotcha.
I thought you meant a fucking merger, like they merged with another project or company.
Well, yeah, but Azuki and Doki are going to go away.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I don't. I may be able to disclose it. I just don't want to disclose it until I know for sure. So.
Sure. Yeah, there's lots of stuff been going on in those chats. If you tell them what's going on.
We haven't done in a while, Joe.
What?
I'm tired of looking for news today. So you know how we used to do this? We used to do. Remember when this was called something Dicks? Dick something Dicks?
Dickhead?
Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sean says, FYI, Irish whiskey has the E. Everything else is just whiskey. And he spelled it WHISKY. But I do have a spot for sheep dip whiskey. The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, sheep dip, that's an interesting phrase. Just used them such a.
James said, just used Llama Swap 20 minutes ago. Would be willing to bet we see a Llama token, and I would not be shocked to see that happen at all. Hey, you know what, Joe?
What?
This is irrelevant, and I've done enough irrelevant.
No, go for it.
It's not DeFi related, so it's just stupid. So we'll save it for another day. No, so we used to go on to CoinDix. Remember CoinDix?
I don't remember
what's the insurance company that has Dix in its name too? Which I'm just like, what the fuck? I know you want to name it after whoever the fuck that Dick was, but why?
VIX?
Yeah. Just you know what you don't want something. You don't want your brand to have the word Dix in it, no matter how it's spelled.
Yeah, it's like using the word cock. It's like it ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
Even if you go with the French spelling.
I mean, I guess people, you don't forget it. Anyway, CoinDix rebranded to Nanoly. But remember how we used to come in here and look for high yield and go check out the fucking shit? What parameters? Should
let's see what's there.
Should we do chain-based or let's see.
What are our choices?
Oh, here we go. Acre and Avix on Pangolin. Let's check out what Acre is.
Yeah, this strategy led me to be holding big bags of coins that went down to like 0.000 something.
That's not like you though, because you usually sell, take that profit. So
Yeah,
252%. Whoa, wait a minute. Look at this one on CBRIDGE. USDT at 250%. What the fuck?
they got
I've used
100,000 in
CBRIDGE,
TVL.
but it says 12.16%. Oh, so maybe Nanoly's having some data issues. What the fuck? Pangolin. I don't know why this pool is supposed to be paying 250%.
Maybe they pay these guys to put 250 down, and then people come and it's a bait and switch.
Acre is not paying 252%. So much for this trip down memory lane to try to find the big yields.
But no, I'll tell you what happened. I'm thinking about specifically coins like Matrix Swap and a few of those other ones that I chased some yield on Define and those sites. I mean, I got a lot now, but I did sell some. But the point is that, you got to be willing to ride these for a while because the yield is high for a reason. Look, incentives, let's say.
Look at this though.
ARB.
So Arbitrum 1 is paying 22.21% for USDT liquidity. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot going on over there. So,
shit.
There was a new DEX.
The rewards are in seller.
Oh, there it is.
Optimism, there it is, 249.9%, and the rewards are in the Optimism OP token. What the
What's the banner one below that? Scroll down. What is that?
43.82. They don't tell you what pool it's on, but what the fuck?
Yeah, if you run around through like Spirit Swap and Boo, Trader Joe's, you find pools over there. And on obviously Polygon, Quick Swap, Sushi Swap, Cometh, Crystal was on Polygon, right? All of those smaller ones were all on Polygon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You can find yield over there still, but I think the question now is, what do you, I think between impermanent loss and everything like that, liquidity pools just aren't that attractive to me right now.
Yeah.
Whereas single staking vaults are.
Yeah.
So,
but if I can just deposit USDT and get 249%, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean,
okay, so this is for bridging.
So you got to bridge in USDT to get it?
I think you're providing the liquidity on either side of the bridge. So what they're saying is that because it's CBRIDGE, so what they're saying is that if you provide liquidity for USDT on either side of the bridge, your money may get moved from Optimism to another chain because that's what they are. They're a bridge, right? So they provide. You want to move $1,000 worth of USDT from Optimism to Phantom. They provide the ability to do that, and your money gets moved over because you're supplying the liquidity on either side of that. But fucking A, 249.
Yeah, I think.
You know what would be cool for this? You know what would be cool is a tool.
What?
So here's a product idea. Eamon, you listening?
Yeah, I see him in the comments. He's here.
A tool that automatically watches every liquidity demand. So I'm assuming that the APY percentages are going up because they have a shortage of tokens in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So monitor this site and automatically deposit on the yields as they go up. Pull it out and put them into the next one that goes up. Pull it out, put them into the next one that goes up. Just monitor all of the bridges, CBRIDGE and others, and just constantly use the single-sided stablecoin shit and go after the highest yields and bounce in and out of them.
I think that makes total sense because, look, I'm assuming that's a single vault yield, the USDT, or is it paired with something else? Okay.
No, there's no pair. This is single-sided.
So, you could do that, run around and capture yield. It's kind of what I've just sort of been spending my time more on these deposit and lending protocols to get yield because it's just single token. I mean, of course, I guess everything could rug pull anytime, but versus chasing around, because I was digging through all those new layer 2s and 1s a few months ago, and honestly, it was just too much to be digging through. And like I'm in 16 different protocols over on Arbitrum, and it's like, but I haven't been back there in a couple of weeks. So you kind of do the work, and then all of a sudden you're on to the next project. Which one?
ETH on Avalanche, and you get the rewards you're getting seller tokens, but 1,473%.
Seller, I think, was what are we on? What
I'll just take the token and dump it immediately into ETH or whatever you want to stack up.
As long as it's not a pre-mine or something like that, where it's
but seller's an established chain coin.
How much is in there? 85,000. So they must have just moved over to Avalanche or something. Probably.
No. Seller's its own chain.
Okay. So Seller's why then?
So it's because they need the money to be able to get from Avalanche to Seller, right? So they don't have enough liquidity of ETH on Avalanche, and Seller wants people to be able to bridge over. So somehow somebody's providing the incentive because they want this bridge to have liquidity on either side so that people will come onto their chain. That's my assumption. I don't have any expertise or knowledge on how this bridge functions. That's my assumption, is that there are incentives to put more liquidity over there because they need more liquidity coming in, so more people will bridge in and can bridge in and can use use this tool. But dude, a tool that automatically monitors this and just fucking bounces in and out. Sounds like take your cut, wait till it starts to drop. When it starts to drop, pull it out, dump the reward tokens as they come in, and then take the rewards you got and put them into stables on other high yield stables. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Anybody else out there think I'm crazy? Am I not making sense?
Well, it's all going to be in the execution, dude.
Yeah. Well, if you automate it.
But I would say I don't think there's a shortage of people looking for yield.
Right.
And so if you had an automatic tool that would do it, that would make it a lot easier for the people who don't have the time to go looking for it.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about one of your material indicators. Wow, that was redundant. And material indicator is the name of the company, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Material indicators. That would be a good one to launch there, obviously. I mean, unless you want to get a higher percentage ownership of it. Exactly. We'll cross promote it over there. We'll have Sean pasting links in there all the time for us.
This is BUSD, and it's paying in BUSD, 4.22% on Ethereum mainnet to BUSD. Fuck, man.
Yeah,
this looks like a fun game to play, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, Zero VIX has good yields too. Geist still has good yields. I mean, you just gotta, be willing to do it and go find them. And so a bot or whatever algo that would track those down or execute on those, that would be, drop $100 in it and just tell it to go run.
Yeah.
And
I know a guy.
That could be. All right, let's do it.
Niblet says some function of yield against number of active wallets and TVL per wallet might be helpful to ID the manipulated honeypots. Ooh, yes. Eamon says it sounds like velodrome yields. James says bridges are dangerous, but wow, 250% is incredible. Yeah, this is like, you just automate every process of this. This could be really fucking powerful. So,
well, and it's not a huge look. You don't have to build a whole company around it either.
No,
a lot of the projects
it's a quick project.
Yeah, and it could just be minting money. I can't see how single digit yields compare with fiat. Yeah, that's probably. I mean, look, if you can get 6%, well, I don't know what are the banks paying right now? I guess 4.25%, 4
probably
on cash, and then I think those I bonds are still at like 5.9 or 6% or something. You can get that, and and you got to think that just the equities right now, being S&P being off last year 20%, there's got to be some diversified plays there, and ETFs and things like that, or index funds that would make sense to swap into. Or, I mean, I think everybody else calls it TWAP. I call it TWAP. Sorry.
Yeah.
But, just start taking positions there. But again, I think you have to find the yields over here that are compensate for the risk. And that has to be above stock market risk too. So that's got to be above 12.5%.
So on Nanoly, I'm taking a look at this token equal. I don't have a fucking clue what it is. On Taro, did you ever use Taro lending protocol on Phantom? I never did, but they always had some high paying APYs. Supply
Taro.
APY equal FTM. Oh, this is an FTM equal pool. Utilization's at 79%. Supply API. If you supply, you earn 25.52% on Phantom and 95.95% on equal. But who the fuck is paying that rate? Borrow APY is 145%. Who the fuck is borrowing that shit? And why?
Well, what is the incentive on top of the 145? Do they have like a
35
a
borrow current leverage 1x. No, it does not say. I can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's the highest. Is it the highest? It's the 35% to deposit it, right? That's the yield on deposit.
No, 25% deposit Phantom, 95% for deposit or supplying for lending on equal, and then for borrowing, the APR on Phantom is 35.65%, and the APR on equal is 145%.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like Zero VIX, you get that in some of them, and Geist had this going on with Curve for a while. I mean, obviously they're trying to incentivize. I mean, that's the pay though. That's the borrow APR. That's what you pay interest on what you borrow, right? That's not
I would assume that's what that means.
Yeah.
Which I don't know who the fuck is. I mean,
nah, doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you go borrow on another platform?
Yeah.
And then go deposit there? I mean, you can borrow Phantom on Geist right now for, I think, 3.5% roughly.
Wow.
So, you borrow there and then stake it here. I mean, assuming, we're all in Phantom world. Stake it here and, 33-point spread. But also, I think when you borrow Phantom on Geist, you also get a bonus of like 6% on that you earn for the borrow, which offsets the pay for the borrow part. So you'd be up like 38%.
Now, this is, wait, what the fuck?
I did it with Curve on Geist a few weeks ago when Curve was paying something like, 24% or something like that. And the borrow then was like 60% on Curve at that point as well. But the reward on it was like, 40%. So you're really only paying 20. But again, why borrow it? There.
Do you get? Oh, here we go. Liquidity. No.
Yeah, these are all a little bit funny now.
I wanted to see. Yeah, it sucks up. They've broke their URL schema. So look at this one. This is FTM and GALCX. So two tokens I love.
Alchemix.
The base APY is only 6.62%, but the reward APY is 130%. What I can't tell is that farming?
A lot of times they're in. Yeah, it's in the farming.
There it is. Well, this says 40.41%, but still, I mean that's two tokens I got sitting in the fucking wallet.
Yeah, and Boo. This is on Spook Boo. Yeah, no, just two of them. Going to get that nickel. Every nickel counts. Damn it. No, I mean it's true. I was messing around with like a small amount, just doing some high risk stuff over the last couple of weeks, and you're trading in and out constantly, but you can build that stack. Yeah. And, I'm not playing it with $1 million or something, but, if you were, you'd be cleaning up. Yeah. So, don't underestimate how you can, listeners, how you can grow this if you're patient and just, if you're somewhere where there's not a lot of money, you can start this shit with $5.
Yeah.
And build that up. I mean, you'll probably clean up in the next cycle. Probably, not financial advice, but and you can practice. So then you show up with 50 grand and you start making mistakes, stupid, silly mistakes that, not stupid, but rookie mistakes. And that's not an insult. That's just what happens. Why not practice with less?
Yep.
And go make your mistakes out there with $20 versus 50 grand. And then when you kind of have it figured out, then come in with real money. But one can safely invest. Yeah, that's true, Niblets. Yeah.
What did he say?
I think he's talking about, especially with the size of amounts of dollars or fiat that you can invest, versus, that you could safely invest. So he's talking about risk-free rate, essentially protected money, secure money. I was talking, there was a professor.
This is the project Equal. It's called Equalizer, and it's a DEX, liquidity, LPing. Not a lot of uniqueness going on here.
Yeah, so all of these like kind of clones, or I guess the product is sort of clonish.
Pasta.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. The only way they could compete is, I guess, yield or marketing. And, there's so many other choices out there that we're all already in.
Yeah.
And so we're familiar with. So, I have my go-tos. A 689. All right, thanks, Scooter.
Shizzy says Equal is a solidly fork.
Oh, I didn't. Wait, Solidly was...
Solidly was the Phantom Dex that Andre did with the whole NFT scheme. It's now relaunched on Ethereum.
Sounds cool.
James says, I used Taro. Nice yields on there. Good memories. James said, back in the day, actively changing your Taro pools could get you the best APRs, 100% plus. Niblus says, how do leverage in a market near bottom and moving up versus mid-market versus a market near top and moving down? Is he asking how to play it?
I think so. From the different points. From either, but of course, all those points are never noticed until they're in the rear view mirror, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know where you are. But look, a lot of leverage when it's toppy. Yeah. Mistake. Big mistake. I mean, I could see, I don't use a lot of leverage myself. I know a lot of people come in and do some crazy 100x stuff or, in leverage, but you get just wiped out all the time.
Joe, I'm starting to get itchy wanting to go back into fucking yield farming here. This is bad. Maybe I should have never done this.
No, it's good because I think, look, that's what kept me when May 21 hit. Because I remember looking at this stuff like in February, January 21, and I was like, wait, so what's happening here? You put it in, and then it's like, it's like, wait, who's got control of this? Yeah, it's like you just expect the inevitable rug pulls, and then, you spend enough time in a platform and there isn't one, and you're like, okay, these guys are trustworthy, or you talk to them, or, we meet them other ways, and then you figure out, or they're doxed versus undoxed, and you kind of feel comfortable there. But I'll tell you that yield farming in the May through July period of 21, remember when it toppled over in May, and then we had like 2 or 3 dead months, and then it started picking up, I think, in August-ish, or July 15th through August. Then we had a September down, and then Pumptober happened, which was when we started the show.
Yep.
That yield farming on Define and QuickSwap and all those places chasing those high yields was what helped me build stacks and all those projects I was in.
It's true. That's true.
Some did well in the next cycle, and some didn't do so well. But it doesn't mean they're not going to come back for the next one. So it's a good way to build that stack.
This one's interesting. Giddy's getting a lot of hype as an easy-to-use self-custodial wallet. I met them at one of the shows I went to recently. And a friend of mine just got a gig there doing their developer evangelism. So I can't say completely legit project, but, shows all the signs of being a legit project. Paying 341%. With a Giddy USDC pair. Look, Beefy does a good job. They tell you, look, you should expect a high and permanent loss here, that it's very small, extreme volatility probably is going to happen with this, but it's still interesting to see. Shizzy said, if you get a Magic Cat NFT in Phantom, you can stake that with Boo and get a 50% APY. Wow. What the fuck's a Magic Cat NFT though? Is it a useful NFT or just a art NFT? As Sean said, geez, leverage and yield hunting. We never learn. Humans are strange animals. Yes, we are. For me, it's just it's a game. I would never put money in here and think of it as an investment anymore. I'm done. Those days are long gone for the yield farming stuff, but it's so much fun to do. And actually I shouldn't say the one way I'm seriously doing it is for Canto, right? I'm providing liquidity and supplying lending, and stacking Canto. That's all I'm fucking doing is stacking Canto. Cause I want that bad boy to get to, I don't know, $10,
retirement territory,
$1,000 a token someday. Anyway, but it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to go in and check it and try to offset the fucking IL. It's a game. I really consider it like a video game. We should turn it into a video game. It should be like,
no, fuck it. Let's just make the movie.
Yeah.
And then we'll create the video game after that.
That movie is I'm so stuck with that movie. That was so fucking brutal, that movie. I mean, that show last night.
Time, the one we talked about earlier, like The Last of Us or something like that.
Yeah. That fucking, that one episode in and I'm just like, what the fuck are you people doing to me? That is brutal.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff out right now. A whole bunch of stuff was released the last few weeks that I can't recall any of the names right now, but crazy dystopian post-apocalyptic stuff. There's a lot of it out there.
Brutal shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Shizzy says that's Spooky Swap's NFT. Ah, gotcha. Magic Cat. Makes sense. Euphoric says, I know you guys don't like Yuga Labs' latest hire, but I'm still very pleased with the 105% APR staking ape. Where are you staking that? Is that something you're staking? Is that a platform that Yuga has? I have not looked at a fucking thing that Yuga has put out besides their apes.
Wait, who was their latest hire? Who was the latest hire?
Remember it was
Daniel Allegre. From one of the failed maybe the fifth link down. Daniel Allegre, Yuga's new CEO.
Yeah. From where the fuck is he from? I bet they don't even tell us in here.
Straight up, did an internship at 3AC, and now I'm CEO of Yuga Labs.
No, what the fuck? He was with one of the failed projects.
Well, fuck. Me nuts. No, hold on. I'll just get it real quick. Daniel Allegre.
Oh, Activision Blizzard. He was the guy with all the.
Oh, that's right.
The not sexual abuse, but the
harassment stuff, right?
And all the other shit. Yeah, Euphoric is from Activision. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
that's a good hire.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Euphoric, are you staking all that on their platform? Is that where you're getting that APR? And is it paying an ape?
But either way, it's always good to go through all of these and just see what's going on. I mean, because there's a lot of new energy out there in the market over the last couple of weeks. So,
well, in fairness, I've never looked at Yuga Labs shit. I have not. So
they're all the Bored Ape stuff, right?
Yep. But they have I think they have a DEX now. They have yield staking, yield farming.
And aren't they building a metaverse too?
Yes, they were going to build shaping Web3 through storytelling experiences and community and sexual harassment.
It's funny. It's funny. I was meeting with a friend down here. I haven't talked to her in years, but she was like employee number 2 at MTV. And obviously did very well. She was there forever. And, she was talking to me years ago about, I'm wanting to get into this storytelling stuff. And I never really, when storytelling was being touted around, this is probably 5 or 6 years ago. It seemed like it was more, everybody was talking about, like author platforms and things like that for books and content. But what it was, and I missed this, is, all of this like experiential stuff to populate these digital ecosystems or these digital, metaverse, sci or whatever. It wasn't what I thought it was at the beginning. And so, just because I saw that word there, and I have seen it a lot in the last 6 months, where people want to hear stories. People, I mean, that's what we friggin' do. We tell stories on the show, basically, with a little bit of news.
It's funny that you bring this up. I'm sitting here listening to a book for the last few days called Storyworthy that's all about framing and setting up storytelling to make it more impactful.
Yeah, well, you might have to. How long is that book?
I don't know, 14 hours, 15 hours, something like that.
Ouch. Yeah. No, I would be. Oh, you're listening to it. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I was going to say I might want to read that myself.
It's really good. Really beautifully done. Like, I mean, I didn't expect quite. He's a big. If you've ever heard of the Moth, it's a storytelling competition, and he's the guy. He's won it like over and over and over again. So anyway.
Well, it's oral history was the key to transferring culture and knowledge to kids, whatever, to pass that down. If you look at all societies, it wasn't written. I mean, maybe there was some scratchings on the cave wall or something like that, but that was it. And so it was all preserved that way by talking and telling and things like that are showing. And so it's a very valuable way because it's it integrates in there. It gets burned into the brain very, very effectively versus, say, reading a list of things and trying to memorize it.
Well, when I teach my presentation skills courses at FIU to their MBA students, I talk a lot about storytelling. I talk a lot about it is a much more impactful way of getting your point across than reading fucking bullets on a slide. So absolutely. Euphoric says, yep, he's staking on ape stake and receiving ape. And Sean says the 3AC guys are shilling for investment into a new exchange. One letter up from GTX. We talked about this yesterday, buddy. But it fucking cracks me up, and it is a new low. Are you getting in on the round? Is my next question. The other side metaverse will be huge. They already hosted a concert with Eminem and Snoop Dogg. Yeah, wow. But Euphoric, that got slammed, buddy. That was not the quality because it was really bad songs. It was like 2 songs, I think, and it was basically them lip syncing. So people were not pleased that it wasn't a real full blown kind of concert. But it's a smart move and it's a smart strategy to do metaverse and do events that attract people into it. Shizzy says, it's great, man. A little bit of a pump and we're yield farming again. Tell the grandmas bull market's back.
Hell yeah.
Niblet says that Chuck Berry guitar is the identical guitar available in Guitar Center, except it comes with a story. That's perfectly put, dude, in terms of the importance of stories. He says the value is in the story and your belief in it. It makes all the difference in the world. When you're selling shit, if you got a story behind it, you're going to get a lot more for it than if you don't. People want to gravitate and latch onto that and think it provides extra value.
Yeah, it's much more complex than, say, the one that you see everywhere, which is the sell me this pen.
Yeah.
And people, the ones who win that, tell a story around the pen. But most people say, did you know this pen was signed a Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson? Or this could have? Most people are like, oh, it's the price, or oh, it's the quality. But what people want, if it's going to be quality, there has to be a story around it that makes it the quality. Why you would want to do it. So here it is.
This is the book I'm listening to right now. Really, really beautifully done. I mean, really, I've got 4 pages of notes on this, and like really hands-on exact tips. He breaks stories down. He tells you what he did. He tells you how he did it. He talks about when to use past tense, when to use present tense, what words to use, what not to. I mean, it's really, really well done. I've looked at a lot of storytelling stuff. This is probably the very best I've ever seen. This guy is fucking phenomenal.
Now I figure out why Dix was in your head so much.
Exactly, because his last name is Dix. He makes jokes about it in some of his stuff. And if you just go search him up on YouTube, some really fucking amazing stories. And the beauty of it is he uses the stories he's already told on the Moth to make impact, to break down how to do it, right? He goes through how he did it, how he came about with the way he told a particular story. So really, really good shit. This is definitely life skills advice. Highly recommended.
I love how the audio book is like 2.5 times more than the Kindle version.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I have a Kindle. I have an Audible subscription, so I get to pick 2 books a month to download. So,
yeah.
and I like it because I can return them if I don't like a book.
Yeah, I keep not even taking advantage of that. You're Prime too, right?
Yeah.
So I keep getting those notifications. I never even look.
The book is 368 pages. So.
Yeah. I'll wait for the Cliff Notes.
Somebody's probably already somewhere. You know what? I'll send you my notes. I'll send you my notes.
Yeah.
I've got them all broken down into, I mean, it's some of the snippets from it are going to be like, well, wait, what does he mean there? But I'll send you my notes.
Yeah, please. I'd love to, because, my daughter's writing a lot. She's writes. And
sorry.
Yeah. So storytelling, I was kind of looking at one of her essays yesterday, and, these kids are like, she's writing about education, but, then they pull two references in, and one is in hers is a whole big section is Kafka, not the trial, but the smaller penal colony. And the other is that Will Smith Pursuit of Happiness movie. So they're weaving in themes from literary references and non-literary references and pulling all these thoughts together, synthesizing thought at a young age. I was not even close to being able to do that when I was 17.
Yeah.
So
do you have an Audible subscription, Joe?
I don't know, man.
If you do,
maybe.
They also offer the Great Courses, which has a couple of different storytelling courses in it. So anyway.
Yeah, I'll check that out and we'll talk more.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Niblets, Shizzy, Euphoric, Sean, Shizzy, James. I think that's everybody today.
Yeah.
But it was quite the active discussion today. Thank you all for contributing to the conversation, giving us information, teaching us. We always want to hear what you have to say. Appreciate and love that everyone listens and watches, and look forward to doing it again tomorrow. Hey, we're going to move Sean to Fridays. I had a discussion with him. So that's the preference. So Sean will be regularly on Fridays now. So he'll be back Friday. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please just take 2 seconds to rate and review us. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the smash the thumbs up. See Joe demonstrating it when he finds the camera, and click the subscribe button, and click the little bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. And I think, Joe, you've been dying to say something, so go ahead.
Yeah, don't kill me off too fast. But remember, tomorrow we have X7 coming on. To talk about their project. So she's going to have Rob's coming on. I think his handle's Rob the Bank, and he's going to be coming on. Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
It's a dad joke Twitter handle.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's. Yeah, I think he's younger than us. Let's put it that way, as a lot of people are. But yeah, he's going to talk all about the project, differentiation from others, why and what they're trying to do and things like that. So it should be a really good one. So if anybody wants to prep for it, you can go read their white paper on their website.
What does it do? You remember what it does? I don't remember what it is. I forgot.
Well, no, it's pretty interesting because what they're doing is that the big premise to me, or the big value add, is let's say you have a liquidity pool on Uniswap, and you have to stake it with a couple $1 million to do that, let's say, or $500,000, whatever, 300,000. If you move it, you can move it over to their platform. And this is just starting. I don't think any of this has happened yet. And then you can basically borrow against the liquidity pool. So you can take capital out, and then you can spend that capital on other things like marketing. It essentially frees up that chunk of capital to be used for operating expenses.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't know the coupon rates or anything like that yet, but it seems like an interesting thing that I haven't seen out there yet. Right. So, again, it's a protocol and all of that. So, you got to do your due diligence, but it seems to me that would be pretty attractive to the market.
Yeah.
To be able to free up that money. And also they have a second track, which is for developers that are looking to, say a one-off developer doing a startup. They basically do provide seed funding for those types of plays via, they have this pool that'll generate fees from all of, transaction fees from all platform fees from all of these transactions. As that pool grows, I think it's not too big yet. Let's just say, sub maybe 100K. But if you're going in to start a protocol and you need like 10 grand to cover yourself for a while you're coding, it could be an interesting option to look at. And so what they'll end up in the end is, some like kind of portfolio of startup companies, small chunks of all these companies.
That's fucking
think
beautiful.
Idea Labs and all of those. So I think that's pretty cool too. And a lot of our listeners that might be looking for funding, this could be the way to go. Depending upon, terms and all of that. It didn't look onerous to me. It looked like pretty generous, but I just can't remember the numbers. Cool. So we're going to talk about those two things. And they have a pretty solid Twitter presence. I see a lot like Change and other groups. They got a lot of people out there, promoting and talking and things like that. So there's a lot of energy around it. But, the devil's always in the details. So
sure.
I invite anybody to read the white paper. It looks like about 20 pages. And so we have a good chat with Rob tomorrow on that.
Awesome. That's great. Well, tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be back. Joe,
we need a cat woman. All right, man. Talk to you.
All right, take
See
care,
you guys tomorrow.